audio.
What's up, everybody? It's me.
Yeah, alright. Playback speed. Yo, what's up? I've got a rather long one today. A long video. Nick Fuentes reacts to Joker review by BlackPilled. I've never seen this Joker review. I've seen the movie. It's very popular. It seems like pretty interesting content, and I like recording when I watch some good Nicholas Fuentes content. So let's see what this is about.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Nick
speed.
Fuentes. We're back.
Oh no, it's 1.75.
And we are here doing a review of BlackPilled, Devin Stack's Joker review, which I promised. I would
do this
on D-Live today.
Okay, so it might be some normie content. It might be about how this movie is propaganda for far right racist incel white men. Probably something liberal, something like that. And how the movie is like evil. But then again, this guy is called BlackPilled, so maybe he had a small disagreement with him. I don't know. People who are liberal don't tend to use terms such as BlackPilled, or any pill for that matter.
On my show, like every night on my show, everybody's like, Nick, have you seen Devin Stack's review of Joker? I guess this guy, Devin Stack, BlackPilled. I don't really watch his content, but I guess he does like movie reviews and like
Get my book, Day of the Rope. Okay, no, this might be a wignat. This might be a white supremacist. So maybe he's disliking it because he's a wignat.
Things. Like he reviews television and he gives cultural commentary.
Maybe it's too edgy.
We'll see. Of Joker, which I loved, which I've seen 3 times now, and I loved it, and I think it's a schmood. I think it's a vibe. But everybody's saying, "Oh well, did you see Devin Stack's review? Because Devin Stack says that it's cringe. Devin Stack said that it's blue pilled or whatever. It's actually left wing." So I watched the review today because I was like, whatever. I'm sitting down. I'm having my oatmeal. I want something to watch. What the hell? People have been telling me about this. I'll give it a go.
Oatmeal.
I watched the interview and it was terrible. I'm sorry, Devin Stack. I don't have a beef with Devin Stack. I like his content generally. But this review's no good. This review's no good. It's all wrong. And we can have a difference of opinion without fighting. We can have a difference of opinion without hating the other person. But this review sucks ass. If you don't like Joker, fuck you. So we're going to review the review.
Nick.
And here we go.
If I want to say I wasn't going to watch the Joker movie until I was able to see it for free because I don't believe in giving money to my enemies. And, well, sometimes it's hard to avoid this.
Okay, so before we really get in, the first thing I want to say is this argument is so cringe and ridiculous. Before we even get into the movie itself, I just have to say...
Isn't it weird how I just laugh on command just based on the fact that he was smiling? He didn't say anything funny. I was just laughing because he smiled. Copying other people's body language.
And I hear this all the time. You're really going to see a movie? You're giving your money to Zog? You're giving money to the, Hollywood? Yes. It's a fucking $10 movie ticket. People who do this must absolutely be retarded. I mean, must actually have mental disabilities. If you think that in the grand scheme of things, it makes any difference whether or not you go and purchase a ticket or you see it for free. So I just have to say that from the outset. Well, I wasn't going to do a review because I don't like giving money to our enemies. Oh, bravo. What a hero. You're so pure. You're so red-pilled, bro. Bro, he won't even see Joker because he doesn't want to give money to Hollywood, which is run by you-know-who. Just buy the ticket. It's $10. Do the math on that. How much of that goes to the actual cinema? How much goes to the production? Whatever. It's a $12 movie ticket. Big deal. But it's the principle. No, it's not. Shut up. Unless you're not buying literally anything, this is a ridiculous argument to make. You're telling me you don't buy...
I have a bad habit of rubbing the mouse for comfort or something when I'm making a video. But when I watch it back, I realize it's very annoying. So I'll try to stop.
Anything from Amazon? You're telling me you've never bought anything from a fast food restaurant? What, do you make everything yourself? It's ridiculous. We have to buy things. Evil people control the world. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. So, and beyond that, people can enjoy things, I bought this Coca-Cola. Is Coca-Cola our guy? No, but it tastes good, and that's one of the few things that is going well in the world is that we have sugar water that tastes good, and, everything else is blackpilling, so why not enjoy, right? So I have to just say that.
It's pretty easy to do when it comes to just not watching a movie at the theater. So I didn't expect to take a look at this movie for a while, but I got the opportunity to see it for free. So I strapped in and I watched it, and I realized I'd seen this movie several times before.
Oh.
Now, what I mean by this
is... He's going to say it's repetitive.
There is absolutely nothing
rejected
original
by society
about Joker. In fact, it parallels
Cliche.
other, mostly Robert De Niro movies so closely. I almost wonder if that's why they felt like they had to cast him in the film, in a part that really didn't suit his very limited acting range. But it's almost like they knew if they didn't include him, people would just be talking about how they just picked different scenes from movies he'd been in and rammed them together in something they could trick people into watching, which is exactly what they did. In fact, you might be wondering how I can review this film at all without access to the footage, and it's easy.
My back kind of hurts. I want to
Even
take a
though
nap.
the trailer
a
is
little
only a few minutes long.
Okay, another interruption. He is right that the film does pay homage, perhaps excessively, homage to Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. And actually, I watched Taxi Driver this weekend again.
bit. I've
It's one
never
of my-
I've never seen Taxi Driver before. I've heard people say it's a good movie. I think it's about masculinity. I think I read a review. It's something about, I guess he struggles with masculinity in a very short period of time or something. Another movie about masculinity apparently is supposed to be Fight Club. Two movies of which I've never seen, but they sound interesting. I'm probably watch them one day. I'm not a big movie person though. I don't consume that much movies and TV. And since when is it a feature that you can scroll down like this during full screen? Interesting. Never realized that was a thing.
My favorite movies. And it's true, there are a lot of scenes in Joker that are like extremely similar. You know, there's a scene in Joker where he points his gun at the television. There's a scene in Taxi Driver where several scenes where he points his gun at the television.
Spoilers.
You know, there's a scene where Joker is hanging out with all his other clown friends at the clown agency. There's a scene in Taxi Driver where Travis Bickle's hanging out with all his fellow cabbies, and they're similar characters, and I think he's going to get into a few of these similarities.
Agency, what is he
But
talking
you know, I
about?
think you can have similar scenes or similar imagery without it being the same movie. I think they're very different. You know, if you look at the cultural, social commentary of Taxi Driver in the 70s versus Joker today, I think it's very different. Notwithstanding the comic book element of Joker versus, you know, Taxi Driver is obviously original. It's an original script. So I would say that, you know, just because there are similar scenes, I don't think that totally makes them completely different movies. Lots of movies have scenes that
worded
are
that
borrowed
wrong.
or scenes that are inspired by
should've said
classic scenes.
the same
you know, for
movie.
example, one of the most famous examples is in The Untouchables, which is a mob movie about Al Capone. They have this famous scene where a baby carriage is falling down the stairs. I think it actually happens in Union Station in Chicago. And this is paying homage to, the Battleship Potemkin, which is a Soviet propaganda film by Sergei Eisenstein from the 1920s. I mean, there's lots of examples like this in The Sopranos. There are so many scenes. I think in the first couple of seasons where
I
it
wanna
mirrors
watch
the
The
end of The
Sopranos, too.
Godfather when Michael
I've
Corleone
seen
closes
I've seen the endings of The Soprano on YouTube. But I want to watch that show, but I don't want to pay for it, and I don't like watching stuff illegally because stealing is a sin, even digitally, guys. You guys think you can just steal and get away with it like it's not a sin or something? Sorry. But yeah, I want to watch this. I want to watch The Sopranos. And that's the thing. I'm not a big anti-spoiler person, so I could still watch shit like that, knowing the ending. Before I saw Breaking Bad, I saw the ending on YouTube, and even before I watched The Walking Dead, I saw a lot of the important scenes on the show before I even watched the TV show. Also, I remember when Watch Dogs 1 came out, I was so bored because we had gotten the Xbox One. This was in 2014. We had gotten the Xbox One, but we were having trouble getting it set up so that we could play online because it's a new system. And we had I think it was like a month that we couldn't get it set up. So I had Watch Dogs. I had the game already because I saw it at Walmart. I didn't even know what the game was about. It just looked cool, so I asked my dad to buy it. But then I couldn't play it for like a month. So I literally watched the whole game on YouTube, the whole story mode. And I still played it and didn't have a problem, which is kind of strange looking back. But yeah, I'm not a big anti spoiler
door
person.
On the camera. You know, so this happens all the time in film, in television, in media. There are a lot of iconic scenes or things where, you know, they could be inserted into a movie. To say that Joker is Taxi Driver 2, I think it's not subtle that Todd Phillips borrows from Martin Scorsese, but, you know, to say that it's just a trip to get people to buy tickets for this movie, I think it's kind of like, it's pretty simple-minded, pretty reductive.
Easily fill in all the blanks with movies that Joker is a
You
carbon
could call
copy
that a
of.
cope, though. I mean, if the movie, where do you draw the line from where a movie is simply taking inspiration from others and acceptable, versus it's blatantly copying an unoriginal? Like, how much do you draw the line? So, you know, from the perspective of the BlackPilled guy, you could call this a cope right here, what he just said. But I think it's fair. Fair point. I don't really care because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big movie person, so I wasn't thinking when I saw Joker. I wasn't thinking of anything that it reminded me of.
So with that in mind, let's get started. The movie starts out with Joker at his crappy job where he works with other misfits who are likely children of single mothers.
Why is he showing
because of their
pictures
lack
from,
of a positive
Taxi Driver,
role
I think?
model for guidance are just kind of...
Okay, so again, I'm going to have to stop it really quickly, just very briefly. This is kind of symptomatic of my huge problem with this review, which is already we are reading into it laboriously a political and social commentary. Already, before we even get into the review of the movie, we're looking at one scene and saying, these characters that are really not even explored or discussed at all, well, they probably came from single mothers and they don't have father figures. Really? I mean, yeah, we know what a burnout is. We know what somebody who works as a taxi driver, we can sort of imagine what their life might look like, how you get to that point. We might imagine what a person's life might look like if they're working as a clown. But to read into it, he's hanging out with these misfits, like,
Oh, okay, I'm back. You don't need to know what I was doing. It's none of your business.
okay, people that are sort of strange, okay, who probably have single mothers and bad fathers, no father figure. It's like, okay, so clearly we are reading already a political narrative or an agenda before we've even begun. But anyway, we'll get into it.
How is that an agenda, though? That's true. For the Joker, maybe I misheard, but he's just talking about the Joker, right? He does have an absent father figure and a crazy mom.
life. We see how shitty and dangerous Joker's job is when on the street, doing his job, he's attacked by a gang of young diversity. Next, we see Joker laughing uncontrollably.
Wait a minute.
Like a maniac.
Wait, what?
Okay,
Did I get something wrong here? Is this a Joker movie review? Or are all the clips from a different movie? Is there like another Joker movie I didn't see? Or I guess he'll get copyrighted if he shows the clips. I don't know. I'm not understanding what's going on here. Hopefully, I'm not reacting to something I haven't watched before.
This clip is from Cape Fear, and it doesn't really count, but it still looks and sounds remarkably like Joker, so it's still funny.
Just comparing.
Robert De Niro laughed in a movie, and that's like Joker laughing in a movie. Come on, people don't laugh in a movie. It's a movie about the Joker. Would he say this about The Dark Knight? Well, Joker laughs in The Dark Knight, just like in Cape Fear.
In there. So Joker is talking to his government-issued life coach of color and tells her that the things are getting crazier.
Life coach of color.
People are getting tense.
Hey,
He
what's
asks her
that supposed to
give him
mean?
more
What are you bringing up her race for, buddy?
medication, courtesy of the state, no doubt. After getting his medication, he stares out at the decaying city, disgusted. He tries to have a moment with a young black kid on the bus, but he's yelled at by the kid's presumably single mother. And I'll say
Here
one
we
thing
go
about
again.
this. I've heard people say that this movie
That is kind of
is an
that is
indictment
kind of
of single
presumptuous.
mothers. And as with the other good things people are trying to read into this film, it's not that it's an indictment of single mothers. It's just that it's, for the first time, maybe in a long time, it's not portraying all single mothers as strong, independent women. There's no commentary. It's just the absence of the leftist propaganda that many viewers are so used to hearing, they're so conditioned, they're expecting it, that when it's not there, they think the absence of...
Okay, we're talking really slowly, so I don't know. We might have to let's pick it up a little bit. I think we're gonna go to 1.25 speed because it's like
That's what I put
are these videos
to.
made for people like that have a 75 IQ? Again, I like Devin Stack, but it's like, can we pick it up a little bit, please? It's killing me.
of this message is somehow a message in their direction. But obviously that's not true at all, and we'll see more of that. So Joker laughs uncontrollably and hands the mother on his bus a card that explains he can't control his manic laughter, and it's a nervous condition. So throughout the movie, he just kind of laughs hysterically for no reason.
I wonder where you go to get such cards printed. Would you go to your doctor?
He walks the streets slowly, wading through the filth of the city, surrounded by the chaos
bro.
and police sirens. He comes home and talks
I
to
haven't
his
seen this movie before, man. This guy's gonna spoil the whole taxi driver movie for me.
aging single mom
I said that after earlier. I say I'm not a big anti-spoiler, but I still prefer things not to be spoiled.
who he lives with and is living off of disability. She talks about writing letters.
It never says she's living off disability. See, it's these little snipes here. You know, the black woman is presumably a single mother, and his mom, who lives off disability, the government-issued person of color. Okay, really? You know, maybe we could just watch the movie as a character study, as opposed to, you know, we're reading into it. It's all about politics. It is all about partisan politics. It is all about the size of government. Like, really? And we're going to get into that later a little bit more.
To Thomas Wayne, who you could say is kind of a Donald Trump figure in the film. Played by a billionaire tycoon, and he's running for mayor of Gotham. They sit down and begin to watch a late...
Oh goodness, this is just funny. I don't know why that was so funny to me. It just was. This video, the way Nick is cringing at the whole thing, it's just funny. It's a funny phenomenon to see someone cringe at something hysterically, you know.
late night show, and this is when the
Trump.
film switches from kind of...
Again, he's showing Robert De Niro. They watch a late night show. In Taxi Driver, there is no storyline about a late night show, right? In Taxi Driver, he watches television. He watches porn movies at the porn, theater.
At the porn
But it's
theater,
like,
that's the
really?
thing.
Robert De Niro watches TV in Taxi Driver, and Joker watches TV in Joker, so it's the
I
same.
don't know
Are
there's
you
a
beginning
such thing as a porn theater.
to see the pattern here? Well, in Taxi Driver, in Cape Fear, Robert De Niro laughs during something. Joker laughs during something in Joker. Robert De Niro watches TV in Taxi Driver. Joker watches TV in Joker, In Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro talks to his colleagues, who are also taxi drivers. In Joker, Joker talks to his colleagues, who are also clowns. I mean, do you see why these are completely superficial?
That's a really funny arm gesture Nick does, where he puts both his hands up on the desk like a crawling monster. It's kind of like those. I forget what they're called. The myth, and they're in that video game called Until Dawn. Those monster thingies. That's what that reminds me of when he does that.
Cosmetic, perhaps. You could even say stylistic similarities, but not in any other way do they have a bearing on the rest of the film, right? Do you understand what I'm getting at here? It'd be one thing if it was the same story or the same character, but if you've seen Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle and Arthur Fleck are not the same. In Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle is, he came home, I think, from the Vietnam War, and he never really
Hurry up, bro.
was able to assimilate back into regular life. He struggled, which is not an arbitrary or trivial adopted, right? I don't want to spoil the whole movie. We're going to have to for the purpose of this review. His mom,
What do you mean? This is not fair, okay? Look, I know I said I was not a big anti-spoiler person, but I mean, I don't want the whole thing spoiled for me at the same time. You know what I mean?
Pride in taking care of her. He works as a clown. He loves his job as a clown. He loves his job as a clown because he's a narcissist. He's an entertainer. He wants to be liked. He wants to be well known. He is musical. The director says that Arthur Fleck has music in his soul or something, and this is why he's always dancing. So, I mean, these are like critical character differences, but I mean, we're picking up on like, well, this scene kind of looks the same. This scene kind of looks the same. Well, they both take place in a major metropolitan city that's a bit run down. But, again, they're run down in different ways in different times. Taxi Drivers in the 70s. This takes place in 1981. Also, it's released in the context of 2019, so it's different in that way. But anyway, I mean, you get the picture. This harping on, it was influenced by Taxi Driver, therefore it's a carbon copy, therefore it has no substance, it's just a very reductive take and wrong.
of mirroring Taxi Driver to incorporating elements of The King of Comedy. The King of Comedy is a film where Robert De Niro plays a failed comic, just like Joker, who is obsessed with a late-night talk show host, just like Joker. Joker watches the show on television and imagines that he's in the studio, just like in King of Comedy, and the host of the show loves him, exactly like Robert De Niro's character in King of Comedy would do. He invents a scenario in his head where the talk show host wants to be the father he never had. I mean, it's very identical to King of Comedy. Next, the film Joker.
Again, so which is it then? Is it Taxi Driver or is it the King of Comedy? We've pulled scenes
I'm
that
kind
are
of
similar
annoyed.
to King of Comedy.
I
We've
thought
pulled
it was
scenes
going to
that
be
are
a
similar to
Joker
Taxi
review.
Driver,
It is a Joker
and
review,
therefore it's the
but
same movie. Therefore it's the same as these two movies.
I want
that are
to
different
talk about the
movies.
Joker movie. You know what I mean?
I don't see how that one
I'm
movie
talking
is
over
inspired
Nick
or
only
borrowed from
because
another movie that therefore
The video's
why is that a
already
critique?
been
Why
13
does that
minutes.
mean
I don't
that
want this
movie
video to
lacks
be too
substance?
long.
I think we've been over this already, but it's obviously not true. But
Switches back to mirroring Taxi Driver. He's at work and his boss is blaming him for getting jumped and telling him that any damages will come out of his paycheck. While coming home, he meets another black single mom in the elevator, but this one he's attracted to. When he tries to flirt with her, he kind of just comes across like a psycho. Essentially, just like Robert De Niro's characters in Taxi Driver and in The King of Comedy, they both have love interests and they both look like psychos when they approach them. So because his job is obviously dangerous, one of the guys he works with gives him a gun. he goes home and begins to practice and play with his new gun, just like the scene in Taxi Driver where Robert De Niro is doing kind of the same thing.
Well, hold up. In Taxi Driver, he doesn't get a gun because his job is dangerous. There's no scene in Taxi Driver where Travis Bickle gets mugged. That's not at all how it happens, actually. Travis Bickle becomes radicalized. His instructs the Magnum in the movie, reluctantly accepts a gun from the colleague because he got jumped. And he has to carry a gun simply because, he has had this incident where he got mugged. And so, maybe he needs that when he's traveling or something. He was reluctant to carry the gun, and then he had to use it. In Taxi Driver, he didn't use the gun until the very end. He didn't even need to use the gun until the very end. So, well, in Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle has a gun. And in Joker, Joker has a gun. So, I mean, at this point, it's like they're identical, right? Give me a break.
He then begins to stalk the woman he met on the elevator, following her around like a creep, just like Robert De Niro's character in Taxi Driver.
All right, man.
As I mentioned before, Robert De Niro's characters in Taxi Driver and King of Comedy...
Yo, I might just skip forward until I stop seeing these photos from Taxi Driver, man. I'm not trying to get that movie spoiled for me. Hold on. Wait. I have a feeling the whole video is going to be just dichotomy between the Joker and Taxi Driver. Okay, we're getting to Jesse Smollett. So now we're talking about, what are we talking about now? We're talking about race relations now, possibly. All right, we'll stop right here. We'll see what's...
Entirely imagining things. He's got psychosis, right? So to say that these are the same because it involves a girl being off-put, you can see where that's a little bit deceptive, disingenuous, and basically just wrong. I mean, that's just an incorrect reading of the two movies.
The second she's around him long enough to find out that he's crazy. Now, in the next scene, I don't actually need any footage of a movie because I can just use a story that really happened that we're all familiar with. The Jussie Smollett story. Jussie Smollett and his MAGA country fantasy. That's essentially the blood libel that the Joker perpetrated.
That laugh is really funny at played at that speed.
Jussie Smollett and his MAGA country fantasy. That's essentially the blood libel that Joker perpetrates on the same people that lined up to go see the movie, by the way. You see, Joker is coming home from work.
It's a blood libel. Wait. It's a blood libel. It is and I like how he does this in a snarky...
This is a really good photo right here.
Wait, it's a blood libel against the people that lined up to see this movie. Talking about people like me, talking about the based Zoomers who saw this. By the way, it's a blood libel against the people that lined up to see it. Unlike me, I saw it for free. He comparing it to Jussie Smollett? Really? If you thought it was overly reductive and reading a political agenda into a movie when he said that everybody has a single mother and no father figure and, them programs basically, and Thomas Wayne is Donald Trump. Well, now he's comparing the scene on the subway to the Jussie Smollett incident. How, boomer-brained, how, politics poison does your boomer brain have to be to see Joker and think about Jussie Smollett? This, I think I've talked about this on my show before. There are some people that, when I look at politics, I'm thinking about these sort of larger trends, these deeper narratives. I'm not thinking about, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. I'm thinking about, AIPAC, for lack of a better example. I'm thinking about Jeff Epstein, right? I'm thinking about the broad strokes, the deep state, the real actors that are involved, the real trends, not just sort of like the day-to-day cycle, not just the day-to-day thing. This is a difference between people that have been covering impeachment 24/7 since it was announced, the impeachment inquiry, versus people that have been talking about Turkey and Syria, right? There's some people that are really engaged in the minutia of impeachment because they think that's really important. Well, Nancy Pelosi said this and blah, blah, blah. It's like talk radio, basically. It's like baby boomers, old people, talk radio, Fox. They're obsessed with the cycle and, the characters. It's like a soap opera. So it's like a soap opera view of politics versus a much more, I think, I don't know what you would say, much deeper understanding of these.
Hey, he beat me to it. I was about to pause the video and say the word deeper because I didn't think he was going to come up with the word. But yeah, good point there. You got to look at the iceberg and look into the water. You can't just look at the part that's sticking out. It's like that, I think it's Freudian psychology
situation. And so why I bring that up, this is something I discussed on my show, this theme.
I don't know much about psychology because psychologists are usually very secular in their thinking. But yeah, there's some psychologist who's compared his psychology is compared to an iceberg that goes deeper. It's the basic concept of having a deeper insight into something, things that do not show up in a straightforward way.
Is because to be so fixated on a political narrative that you're thinking about Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett, what did that happen 100 years ago, practically, if you're thinking about in terms of internet time? So to see this scene and think about, this Jussie Smollett and that's Donald Trump and that's Nancy Pelosi and this is the big government socialist left. It's like this is a boomer talk radio brain that is watching this movie. It's like if Joker was filtered through a baby boomer. It's like if it was filtered through Rush Limbaugh and Dinesh D'Souza, and then this is the review. Well, I didn't like the part where the government was giving out free social work, and I didn't like the part when it was a blood libel like Jussie Smollett. Like, really? Is that what the movie's about? Anyway, we're about to hear this, incredibly huge galaxy brain take here.
3 white guys wearing MAGA hats. Okay, I'm kidding about the MAGA hats, but they might as well be wearing MAGA hats.
Really?
It's 3 white guys wearing suits. Hassling a woman on the train because, as Jesse.
So, I guess 3 evil, racist Trump supporters against poor gay black guy is the similar connotation to cringe, no father figure, cringe white guy, and 3 other white guys who were on Wall Street. Those are very 2 different things. This one is more economic in nature, and how the whole maybe not the whole theme, but a big theme of the Joker movie is how no one cares about the little guy, right? And no one cares about those on the fringes of society, versus where you'd have a Jesse Smollett thing. That's more political and ideological as opposed to economic and societal. So yeah, those are very different things.
Smollett has taught us there's nothing.
And maybe not even. What is this? What word did I use? I don't remember what word I used, but maybe like this is more of a this is more intuitive in a way, because it's simply like they don't know how much money this guy makes. I mean, obviously he's a clown, so probably not a lot, but still, it's more of a Chad versus Eugene at the back of the classroom thing. These guys see Joker's physiognomy, and they're gonna bully him because he's a weirdo and he's laughing and he's a freak. So it's like a freak versus like a gay black guy. Those are two very different phenomenons.
More dangerous late at night than a well-dressed white man. So the well-dressed upper-class white men start to violently attack Joker for really no reason. As wealthy white people are known to do. Always riding on trains late at night, assaulting people. And Joker takes out his gun and kills the 3
good point.
kids in MAGA hats. I'm sorry, in suits.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. He
fake
said
laugh
MAGA
is
hats.
pretty good.
Kids in MAGA hats. I'm sorry.
So funny, because it's just like Jussie Smollett. Yeah, white people don't go around attacking people on trains because it is fiction. Because it is a fictional movie. It takes place in a fictional city called Gotham. Okay?
Oh.
Because it is a fictional universe. It is a created world. You know what else is in the movie? Super rats. The city is so bad. There's a garbage strike. Garbage is piling up, and there's super rats. It's in Gotham. And he's like, well, it's Donald Trump. This is Thomas Wayne, and this is Jussie Smollett, and it's a blood libel against white people. No, it's not. It is Thomas Wayne. It is the Joker, and it is in the city of Gotham. It is a created universe. It is a fictional movie about fictional people in a fictional city. And so when I see the movie and I'm suspending my disbelief, I'm buying the idea that what we're seeing is just a city that is just very callous. That is the point that is trying to be delivered by this, is that this is a city that is corrupt. This is a city that is callous. It's rude. It's cold to poor people. It's apathetic to them, perhaps hostile and aggressive to them. It is a sort of a violent ecosystem where predators are out roaming the streets, rich people. I think that is what they're trying to get across. And anyway, in this particular scene, is it realistic? Are Wall Street guys beating the shit out of people on trains? Not really. Now, putting aside for the moment that it's a fictional movie, and that I might buy that in this city, maybe there's something in the atmosphere that's so charged up, that people are almost possessed by evil in such a way. This is the kind of universe that would create a character like the Joker, that these white guys are almost possessed and animated by this cold and malicious spirit of the city, that they would do something like this. Suspending that for a moment, you could almost imagine a scenario where there are mean people on a train, right, where there's some Wall Street douchebags and maybe they're on cocaine, right? I mean, as long as we're projecting onto some of these minor characters that they have single mothers and are on disability, let's imagine for a moment that the movie takes place in 1981. If this is supposed to be New York City, then maybe these guys are, super rich Wall Street guys, right? Maybe they're on cocaine, maybe they're a little bit loopy. Maybe they're on drugs and steroids, which was common back then. Could you see in like the movie American Psycho, something like this happening? I just watched American Psycho this weekend as well. There's a scene where Christian Bale...
Man, I don't understand how people watch I mean, I saw American Psycho twice, but that was over the course of several months. I understand when people can watch movies like for back to back. I can't. I did it one time, um, for Endgame. Not that I've never watched a movie multiple times, but like in a short span, in a short time frame. Like the only time I did that when I watched Endgame, and I saw that twice. But yeah, I've seen American Psycho twice, but that was over a several month period. Yeah, but American Psycho is really good.
And one of his Wall Street guys are snorting cocaine in the bathroom at a club, and they're very aggressive, and they almost get in a fight. Could you see that maybe that's what they're trying to convey here? Because the movie takes place in 1981? You know, could you imagine, like, where maybe that is believable? Where it's super aggressive, alpha male, Wall Street types. You know, maybe the movie is not trying to say that you should be afraid of Wall Street guys in 2019 on a train.
Random thought, but I noticed a lot of conservatives online like to use pictures of Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale from American Psycho as their profile picture. I think it'd be really cool if we saw that start happening with what's that guy's name? With Rorschach from Watchmen. I think he'd be a good symbol of conservatism. Obviously, in not a very serious way that's cringy, but just in a casual sense online, like it'd be cool. I kind of noticed this connection between conservatives and certain culture and movies, such as American Psycho. Like even if you go to the American Psycho clip where they're talking about Jews, like you go to the clip where they're talking about the Jews and everyone in the comments is saying based. It'd be cool if we had that for like Watchmen, like you see conservatives online, you see a picture of Rorschach. I think that'd be cool. Probably not going to happen, but that would be cool. I would probably do that. I'd probably if I didn't like putting myself in my profile pictures, I'd probably put Rorschach in my profile picture.
The world, maybe this is part of the universe that they are creating, where again it's a period piece basically, and on top of that, on top of the context of 1981, where maybe you've got these Wall Street guys, the rich don't really give a fuck, they think they could get away with murder, and they're mean, but maybe it's also supposed to represent and manifest the character of the city, which is violent, aggressive, it is hostile, and also it's the class warfare angle. So, to see this scene and say, well, this is totally unrealistic. Well, it's trying to say that white people are violent. It's trying to relitigate the Jussie Smollett thing. Like, it's just the most pea-brain take. How destroyed by Fox News does your brain have to be to even think about Jussie Smollett on your own accord today, while watching this movie? I can't imagine. Like, to me, I've completely forgotten about Jussie Smollett because that was whatever. It was big news like 9 or 10 months ago or whatever, and so I don't even think about that unless prompted. It's just sort of in the back of my head. So to see this scene and be like, oh, this is Jussie Smollett, it's like, how poisoned does your brain have to be? But anyway, we're gonna keep watching here.
About having sex with his imaginary black girlfriend. And then we find out that the 3 white guys not wearing MAGA hats.
It's so funny to me how he says black whenever there's a black person.
Worked for Donald Trump. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Right? Totally based.
Die.
So
totally based, right? Except they were not wearing MAGA hats, and Thomas Wayne is not Donald Trump, and it's not America. It is Gotham, and it's Thomas Wayne, and it's New York guys. And it's a story about rich people and poor people, and rich people abusing or being apathetic about poor people. I guess this guy would read like A Tale of Two Cities, right? I guess this guy would read or see Les Mis. Any story about class warfare is about Donald Trump and Antifa, right? Any story about the rich and the poor is about Donald Trump and Antifa, right? Any story about rich people abusing poor people is about Jussie Smollett, right? Is it maybe worth noting that in this case, Arthur Fleck is not black? I mean, maybe that's kind of important. If the narrative is about white guys being violent,
maybe that's
then
important.
Do you think it's insignificant detail that Arthur Fleck is not black and therefore it's not racially motivated? Therefore, maybe it's really just more about class conflict. It's more about the rich being out of control than it is about people in MAGA hats. Because in the case of Jussie Smollett, he said there were people in MAGA hats lynching black people in Chicago. Well, I mean, clearly that's not happening, right? But the racial dimension of it is what mattered. That's why it was a big story. So subtract the racial dimension.
I think it's strange to see, in not a super large sense, but to see politics merge with superheroes, like for 3 examples, or the only 3 examples I can really think of, but 3 is, that's a lot to me. Strange trend. You have Watchmen. They're talking about they're talking about how socialism is sucks, and Rorschach's like a conservative and society's degenerate, and communism, and you could say Joker, I guess. That's that's more that's more loose. What is the other one? Oh yeah, that show on it's on Amazon. The Boys with Homelander. I enjoyed that show to an extent, but a lot of degeneracy in there. Like you'll be watching the show, they'll show you something that's basically a porn scene, and not only that, but the whole subtle implication behind Watchmen is, or not behind, The Boys is that like everyone in America, like in the government, all the popular people are like white supremacists, Nazis in secret, and like we have Nazis and people being mean white supremacists who run the country. That's the whole undertone of The Boys, which I cannot stand. But other than the degeneracy, the constant like sex scenes, and also the promotion of atheism and the knocks towards Christianity. That's also why I stopped watching The Boys. I was in season 2 of The Boys, but I couldn't keep on. I just like I could feel that I was rebelling against God by watching this degenerate TV show. But yeah, and also the third one. What was the third one I was gonna say? You have The Boys, Watchmen. I don't know. I don't remember what the third one was. Maybe it'll come back to me. It wasn't Joker. I was thinking of something else.
Mention, and is it really analogous at all? Even if you try to read that into this movie, the answer is no.
Then tells his government-issued life coach of color that the people are starting to resist. He uses that word, and that is the word that's printed on the signs.
He does not, by the way, he does not use that word. He does not say people are starting to resist. I've seen the movie 3 times. I would know. He does not say people are starting to resist. He never says anything about politics in the whole movie. Not until the very end does he say anything about class, about the city, about any of that. You know, he says it. What he does say twice at the very end of the movie is, "I don't believe in anything." Robert De Niro asks him before he starts the show. He asks Joker in the dressing room. He says, "So are you part of the demonstrations?" And Joker says, "I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in anything." When they're on the show, actually, he says the same thing. He says, "I don't believe in anything." Robert De Niro says, "So, what does he say?" He said, "So I think that what you're trying to do is start a movement, right? You were trying to start a movement," when he he confesses to killing the Wall Street guys. And Joker says, "Do I really look like the kind of person that would start a movement?" So he's, "Oh, well, he says resist." No, he actually didn't say resist. And by the way, if your analysis hinges on him literally saying a word like that, which is loaded, maybe you should double check and make sure he actually uses that word, because he actually uses it. Actually, no, he doesn't. That's, number one. And number two, oh, well, they said resist. Therefore, they mean the resistance. No other resistance movie, or rather, no other resistance movement ever in history has been a resistance movement in itself. It's all about Donald Trump. The Rebel Alliance in Star Wars is about Donald Trump. The Resistance in Star Wars 7 and Star Wars 8 is about Donald Trump. Any kind of rebellion ever is about Donald Trump. Nobody can use the word resistance or resist unless it's about 2016 politics, the 2016 election. Really?
The people in Antifa garb protesting around the city. He's part of the resistance against these white people not wearing MAGA hats.
He's not.
And so are the other dregs of society.
I'm getting tired of this.
That live with their single moms on
Not
disability.
because of Nick, but yeah,
Next,
I can see why he doesn't like this. This is very
nervous laughter and his terrible
tiresome
jokes
to watch.
unsettles the audience, but he's too
not
out of
even-
touch.
he's not even talking about the
He's
movie.
not part of the movement. He's not part of the movement. And now
the
Joker is
BlackPilled
part
guy.
of this resistance movement. No, he's not. At no point in the movie does he ever say he's part of the movement. At no point in the movie does he ever participate in this movement. This kill the rich movement is happening in the periphery of the story. It is happening in the background. The movie is a character study about Joker, and it is the context of this character study that is this class conflict, that is the city which is deteriorating, where there is a tension, and the tension is what drives the character development. But the movie is not about this movement, right? That is something that is happening, what would be the word? It is happening at the same time as, concurrently with this story. It's in the newspapers, and Arthur Fleck sees the newspapers, and he sees himself on television when they talk about the killings, and he sees the poster of the clown killer, and he makes the face that's in the poster. But even when he tries to meet Thomas Wayne, he thinks Thomas Wayne is his father. Does he show up to Thomas Wayne's house to protest? No. Does he show up to the protest where Thomas Wayne is at for a gala to join the demonstrators? No. he starts to chant a little bit because he's like, oh, they're like me. They like me. But then he goes across the barricade, and then he goes to meet Thomas Wayne. And he says, oh, I'm your son. I think I am. I think I am your son, And he's looking for a hug. He's looking for warmth from Thomas Wayne. And then at the end, his old clown buddies, come to visit him after he kills his mom, after his mom dies. And they're like, well, we heard your mom died. We wanted to, pay our respects or whatever. And he's in full Joker makeup, and they say, what's with the face? Did you get a new gig? He's like, no. They're like, well, are you going for the demonstration today? He says, oh, that was today? I don't know anything about that. And then at the end, they say, oh, so you're wearing the clown paint because you're a part of the movement? He says, no, I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in anything. But yeah, he's part of the, it's just like so, and this is the guys, I wouldn't see it because I'd have to pay, and I saw it one time, and I don't even have to see it multiple times because I could just watch Taxi Driver. It's like, this is a take from somebody who just like doesn't care. I mean, they don't care about the truth. They don't care about the source material. Look, and I don't want to project a motivation because I don't know what's in his thoughts, but to me, this just comes across as incredibly lazy. That's the word that I think of. It's very lazy. We are trying to force this movie into a narrative that is contrarian and political. I'm just trying to force 50 pounds of my bullshit narrative into a 10-pound box here. I'm trying to force this movie lazily into a preconceived narrative about politics. I'm reworking the movie in my head into a very clever and contrarian take. Well, here's what nobody realized. I have the smart, everybody likes this movie, but I'm going to tell them why they're all wrong. I see these, you didn't think about this. You're not clever like me, you didn't think about this way. It's about single moms, and it's about the resistance movement and Donald Trump, and I'm clever, and click on my video, watch my video. And it's not even a conscious thing. I'm a content creator. I know exactly the thought process. I've done this before. You see something that like kind of fits your narrative and you just run with it. And you don't think consciously, I'm going to be deceptive. I'm going to be lazy and disingenuous. But it's like you see a headline and it's like, well, this would kind of bolster an argument I've been making. This would bolster a narrative. And I'll, just kind of work it in for the content, And it's something that just kind of comes naturally. I'm a content creator. I get it. I've done it before. So I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he saw this movie and thought in his head, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'm going to, shoehorn this in and, whatever. But I think that's what happened. I think that's my sort of autopsy of this terrible review.
Saying to disconnect it from reality to notice that, and instead he thinks his imaginary black girlfriend is laughing at all his jokes. So after his imaginary date, he comes home and he finds out that his mother has been writing letters to Thomas Wayne / Donald Trump because she claims he is Joker's father. So he decides to go to Wayne Manor.
Oh boy, this is hilarious. I'm not even laughing because of what Nick said. Like, just even if I was watching this without Nick, without the context of Nick, like cringing at this, just like it's so random. It's not even because it's stupid. It's just so random to me how you're just sitting there. He's talking about the Joker, and then he equates Thomas to Donald Trump. It's funny.
So that's not. Look, it has to be said. That's not funny. It just has to be said that that's not funny. It's just kind of like gay. It's just like really gay. So when they're wearing MAGA hats, suits, he goes to Wayne Manor, Mar-a-Lago. That's gay. That's really gay. And cringe. Does he think that's like a funny joke? Okay, well, it's clearly not funny. So you're just talking like an asshole. You're just talking like a jagoff, Just talking like a bitch.
But is told by the butler that his mother is just crazy and that he's adopted. Donald Trump is not his father, and she's not even his real mother. So before he can confront his maybe fake mom about this, she has a stroke, and then she's taken to the hospital. While Joker's there, we find out that the talk show host that he was obsessed with earlier in the film, like in King of Comedy, is playing a clip of Joker's terrible stand-up comedy performance.
Also, wait, just before we move on here, by the way, how does it fit into the narrative that Thomas Wayne is possibly the father of Joker? How does that fit into the resistance narrative? If the movie is about the resistance and Donald Trump, then what is the storyline about, him being the illegitimate son of Thomas Wayne and his crazy mother? We just kind of gloss right over that, huh? We spend like 5 minutes talking about how, Thomas Wayne is Joker and the clown movement is the resistance and blah, blah, blah. We're just kind of glossing over some pretty critical and significant parts of the story where he goes to his house and whatever, and maybe he's the bastard son of Thomas Wayne, and he asks him for warmth, and he says, why is everybody so mean in this city? And he punches him, and and he's wondering, did my mom lie to me? What about these letters? We kind of gloss over some of the most important stuff in the movie, but what we do get a chance to say? He goes to Thomas Wayne, Mar-a-Lago, right? He goes to the manor, Mar-a-Lago. So Thomas Wayne has a house, just like Donald Trump. Thomas Wayne has a manor, just like Donald Trump has Mar-a-Lago. So that we're reading into, that analogy is sound because they both have houses, and Thomas Wayne is rich and a politician, but like being the illegitimate son and all this, like none of that matters. None of that warrants any analysis. What just matters is like these little things. It's I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine giving this take.
But not because he thinks it's funny, but because they're ridiculing him. It's like a viral, cringy video. So in addition to this assault on his ego, Joker ends up losing his job because he brings the gun that his friend gave him to a children's hospital, and while he's on the job, it falls out of his clown pants, and it freaks out, obviously, the hospital, and they fire him. This pushes him a little further over the edge, as well as a trip to the institution where his mother apparently was locked up. He goes there to find out if the story of him being adopted is true, to get more information about his history.
I don't remember this scene.
And he finds out that it's very possible he was adopted, although they kind of put in a sliver of ambiguity in there, although it doesn't really matter. Either way, he finds out that his mother used to date violent men and was turned on by men that would abuse him and beat him. He finds out that his nervous laughter is a result of these injuries from this abuse. But again, the film doesn't prosecute his mother for her crimes. It's a throwaway flashback scene.
He kills her, though.
It doesn't even show the violence against her.
He kills her. He doesn't. They don't prosecute. They don't prosecute the mother, but he kills her, and it's one of the supposed to be the most climactic, euphoric scenes in the movie.
To the evil, not wearing MAGA hat white guys on the train.
Oh my God.
Focuses on that as the real problem. Is that what has turned him into Joker? And doesn't even have a second of celluloid depicting the evil.
This is so bad. This is so bad. First of all, that's not true. It says the movie does not devote any time to the fact, and let's just like take it piece by piece, because this is just like retarded, okay? First of all, he makes the claim that the movie does not devote any time to the abuse by his single mother on him, but it devotes all the time to the beating on the subway. Well, that's just not true. It doesn't actually show Joker being abused as a child, but there is a very emotional scene where he's reading through the documents from the Arkham mental hospital, and he's sort of in a flashback watching her confess to this in the asylum, and she's sort of crazy. And it's a very raw scene. He's like laughing, but like he's got snot all over his face. He's crying while he's laughing. It's devastating to him. So to say that like the movie spends no time talking about the cruelty, he's reading through the files, it's just, they strapped him to the radiator, they abused him, and he was adopted and whatever. And he's crying and he's laughing, and Devin Stack says, oh no, they devoted no time to this. In the subway, is he really like distraught? He gets beat up in the subway, he kills the subway guys, and then he goes in the bathroom and starts dancing. And then he goes to his job where he gets fired, and he's on top of the world. He smashes the when you punch in, he smashes the box. He's walking down the stairs. He's energetic. It says, don't forget to smile. He scratches out, don't smile, and he's sort of got like a new pep in his step. He sees himself on the news, and he's shaking. He's laughing about it. He wants to dance with his mom, right? So to say that, I think he goes in and kisses his girlfriend after he kills the Wall Street guys. So to say that, it focuses on this as the problem, it's just simply not true, okay? It's just simply not true. They show the Wall Street guys beating him, but he doesn't really even seem to mind that at all. He actually kind of gets off on it because he wins in the end. Whereas he's crying uncontrollably, laughing while he's reading this, and it goes into detail what was done to him as a child. So because they just didn't show it, they didn't make that choice to actually show that as a flashback as opposed to him, just seeing his mom confess that's not, it's like doesn't happen in the movie. Wrong. Number two, it says, well, what the real problem is, and the way he said that reveals everything. The way he said that reveals everything. He says it doesn't even talk about the single mom as the problem. He says, no, the real problem is the Wall Street guys. Well, let's just stop right there. The movie is not about diagnosing the problem. The movie is not just this cut and dry, totally one-dimensional statement on what the problem is. It is Gotham America? I don't think that's been established. Is Gotham the cities? Is Gotham the world? In terms of this analogy, I don't think it's been established that this is a one-for-one allegory for society. And the movie is, again, in this one-dimensional way, saying, what is the problem in our society? Well, because it spends more time and it shows the violence of the Wall Street guys and doesn't show the beating by the single mom, well, it is diagnosing the Wall Street guys as the problem. Well, I don't think the movie is saying well, one thing is the problem and one thing is not the problem. And anyway, would runtime or what is shown on the screen dictate what the message of the movie is regarding the problem? Well, I clocked the Wall Street scene at 3 minutes and the single mom scene at 2:30. So clearly, because the runtime on this scene is longer, this is the problem. I mean, to go back and compare, well, in this scene he gets shit on, and in this scene he gets shit on, therefore, it's just so dumb. Do you see why that's just totally ridiculous? How anybody could compare these scenes, apples to apples? I mean, it's just so because of the abuse. Like maybe he should have been normal, but you know he got the shit kicked out of him as a kid, and now he's got mental problems. You know. Then he finds out that his girlfriend isn't even real, you know, that was all figment of his imagination.
I'm ready.
So it's like gradually all these terrible things happen.
Not really.
And eventually becomes Joker
I could
because,
theoretically take a nap.
He finds out that he really has like nothing left to lose. Right? It says he fails as a comedian. His hero, his father figure, makes fun of him on TV. So Devin Stack says, well, the New York Wall Street guys beating him up made him the Joker. I mean, do you see why the guy just like you don't understand the movie? Did you even watch the movie? Do you even watch the movie? If you would say that, and this is an edited, video, so it's not like he said that like accidentally. Maybe if it was a live stream and he just like, oops, I said the wrong thing, I misspoke. But this is an edited video. It's pre-recorded where he said, well, this is what made him the Joker. No. No one single thing made him the Joker, and least of all that. I mean, that's what put him on television.
Enough of this. Hurry up, bro.
Okay.
His mother and her boyfriends were perpetrating on him. It's just a flashback scene of her talking about it in a padded cell. So this idea that this movie is somehow prosecuting the evil of single moms is definitely overstating things. So Joker loses his mind even more. Eventually he goes full-on Day of the Pillow on his maybe mom and kills her in the hospital. He also kills the man from work that gave him the gun because presumably he sees him as a reason for some of the troubles he's been in. But now Joker has been invited on that late night talk show because that clip of him being a terrible comedian on stage has kind of gone viral, and so the host wants to invite him on the show and basically make fun of him. And Joker, understanding this, still wants to go on the show.
Oh gosh,
Joker has
that's
decided to
photo.
teach the cruel world a lesson. He looks as though he's probably going to bring his gun with him to the show and commit suicide on live television. So he practices his entrance onto the show at home again and again, mirroring a scene from King of Comedy, same sort of thing. And he shows up to the show wearing full Joker makeup. Now, here's where I wish I could play footage of the film, because it's hard to really explain this.
One more thing, because this is like the ultimate bad take in this review. But before we go into that, I also just want to say one more thing. Like what is so critical that he just like glosses over is the transformation. You know what I just said about the rebirth, and then this. What I just thought of when he brought up. So the sequence is. He goes to the hospital and he finds out that he's adopted and was abused. He walks home in the rain. It's raining. He goes to his girlfriend's apartment and he's soaked in rain. He realizes that she's not his girlfriend. He imagined it, and he goes, poof, poof. He does this, poof, and then he storms off. He then goes, he kills his mom. The light is streaming in. Then he's preparing for his Joker performance on the Murray Franklin show. He's in his apartment, and he's painting his face. He paints his face white. He paints his tongue white. Maybe it is to symbolize a blank slate. He doesn't complete the makeup. He's painting his face all white before the doorbell rings, and his old clown friends show up to pay their respects because of his mother. Paints his tongue white, his whole face white. Doesn't get to add anything else, just the white face and the green hair. They come inside. He locks the door. He kills the big guy, and the blood splatters all over his face. His face is painted with blood. All white face after the rain, after he kills his mom, light streaming in. His face is painted with blood. It's all white, a blank slate, and then it is painted with blood. He sees a little guy out. He completes the makeup look. And for the rest of the film, he's in makeup. That was the point after which he becomes the Joker. That is the point after which he becomes the Joker. He was Arthur Fleck. He even tells his mom, right before he kills his mom, he says, I always hated that name, Fleck. I always hated my name, Arthur Fleck. So he says, I hate my name. He kills his mom, and that whole personality, the light is streaming in. It's a new tone. It is a new day, right? He's reborn. He paints his face white. It is a blank slate, so to speak. His face is painted the rest of the movie. His face painted with blood. It's his new identity. He's a killer. He goes to the show, and he is in the Joker, full Joker makeup, the look that this look that's on the screen right now. And he tells Murray Franklin, when you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? He's the Joker now. And none of this has been discussed in this review of the movie. None of this has been discussed. None of the motifs. None of it. It's just none of the narrative, the character study. It's just we're just sort of doing this drive-by of this scene is like the other movie. This scene is like that movie. In this scene, it's like politics. In this scene, it's like Donald Trump. This is the review so far. The whole review is these little drive-bys. This scene is like that movie. This scene is like that movie. This scene is like Donald Trump. This part is sort of like Donald Trump. And this one is person of color, government issued, social worker. This is not a review. This is trash. Sorry. I like BlackPilled. I like Devin Stack. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean to him. I'm being mean to the review. Hate the content, love the content creator. I like Devin Stack.
I'm getting ready to skip
and I don't
forward.
want him to take this personally. Because I don't want him to get like mad at me and be like, I hate you now But
will.
this
He
is
will.
not good to this. Oh, you know, the Muppets, when they have the peanut gallery, those old people in the back of the theater, it's like this. It's like boomer talk radio, politics poison, Muppets in the back of the theater saying, I don't like that one. That scene I don't like. Now we're going to hear the Galaxy Brain take for the whole movie here.
Without seeing it for yourself. And I know it's not just me. There's something decidedly feminine about this new Joker that's in his full makeup, that's on the show, that's about to go in front of the crowd. I mean, he prances around when he's announced. Everything about his presence just seems very feminine. He crosses his legs like a woman when he sits. His hair is long. He's wearing lipstick. And yes, I get it. He's Joker. He's supposed to wear makeup. But with the lisp of Joaquin Phoenix, mixed with the feminine body language and the makeup and the hair dye, I'm telling you, I couldn't help but almost see him, or not even almost, see him as a trans Joker. I mean, he's skinny. He's wearing a suit jacket with shoulder pads.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Okay? I mean, I see all the everybody in the chat just laughing. Really? He's wearing lipstick. I like how he says he's wearing lipstick. I know he's supposed to be a clown. Why the fuck even say it, right? He's not wearing lipstick. He's wearing face paint. He's wearing lipstick. He's wearing face paint. He's the Joker. Was like Jack Nicholson wearing lipstick when he was the Joker? Was Heath Ledger wearing lipstick when he was the Joker? I mean, and he's wearing eyeshadow. And he's wearing makeup. What a gay trans guy, right? This man's wearing makeup.
I actually kind of agree with this take. And I'll briefly say what I mean, because every other depiction of Joker we had, even though they're all beta males in a way, in the sense that they're angry, they're emotional, they do not have the calmness that a man should have, and they're neurotic in a sense. I do agree that this one was a lot more feminine, and he was more of a. I mean, they're all school shooter types, but there is something feminine about the nature of a young man, who is like very, I don't know, school shooter type-ish. And I think the other Jokers, like for example in Dark Knight, had a better sense of masculinity, not in the true sense, but in the way you pick them up, especially the skinny physiognomy on this one. Like this one's like, you see this one is more of a twerp than the other Jokers. The other Jokers you see more as forces to be afraid of, but this seems like like a twerp who just like you're afraid of because he's gonna pull his gun out of his backpack, as opposed to him being like a being not to be messed with. So I actually do agree with this guy in a bit. Not the trans part, but I agree with him that this Joker is a lot more feminine than maybe not in comparison to other ones, but this Joker is quite feminine. I actually agree with that.
Makeup? I mean, yeah, I know he's a clown. I know he's like the Joker and everything. Then what the fuck are you talking about? Then? He's wearing a silly red clown costume. What is he supposed to be, a clown? Yeah, the movie is The Joker. It's called Joker. It's about a clown supervillain, the clown prince of crime.
When he
the
said
Joker.
yeah, oh gosh.
He's wearing lipstick like a girl would. He's got long hair like a girl would have.
When he said yeah right there, that reminded me of when Joker says like yeah, and I'm tired of pretending it's not.
He's prancing around. Oh, he's dancing. He's dancing in a silly fashion. Like a clown? You know who else dances in a silly fashion besides girls? Clowns? He's wearing a shoulder pads in his suit, like a woman would. Well, you know, besides the fact that it's 1981, when shoulder pads were in style anyway, well, he's also maybe supposed to look a bit silly because he's a clown. And he also says, well, barring the fact that Joaquin Phoenix has like a sort of feminine voice or a lisp, so it's the actor that also sounds maybe feminine, right? So except for the fact that he's dancing like a clown and he's got his face painted like a clown, he's got long hair like a clown, he's wearing shoulder pads like they would in the 80s or like a clown would look, and he sounds like Joaquin Phoenix, who's the actor who plays the Joker. And like, you know, maybe being transsexual is also like wanting to be a woman and struggling with gender identity, which doesn't happen at all in the whole movie. Is there any point in the movie where Joker is queer or questions his masculinity? Joker kills people. Joker brutally stabs people, shot people. You know, Joker dresses like a man. Joker takes pride in taking care of his mother, a protector, a guardian, a caretaker, like a man's role. He has a girlfriend. Or he imagines, at least. But, I mean, you get the picture. It's not like there's any kind of like queer thoughts or like identifying with women. Are there any women he identifies with in the movie? At any point, does he like identify with his mother? Does he cross-dress in the movie? Does that happen? Well, he's a little bit effeminate. Well, I'll grant you that, sure. I mean, he is a little bit effeminate. I think that's supposed to speak to maybe he's like deranged. He's like an outsider. Sort of a strange guy. Maybe that's the most you could say about it, is that it's sort of strange. There is maybe something a little bit feminine about him. Do you think that men can maybe be feminine without them being transgender, without it being like a trans movie? No. Nobody has ever been feminine without also being transgender. Nobody's ever been maybe more effeminate or more on the feminine side without being transgender. There's never been an effeminate male lead in a movie, an effeminate supervillain, effeminate antagonist or protagonist.
Hurry up.
Okay, we have
to tell a joke in the most feminine voice that, and this is Walking Phoenix, that's saying something. The most feminine voice he can muster, he's like, knock, knock.
Also, I like, he says, he sits with his legs crossed. He's out with his legs crossed. Oh, he's a fag! He's a fag! He's a tranny! He sits with his legs crossed? He wants to be a girl. Come on, like, really?
And then he tells a non-joke, and then admits to being the man who killed the 3 white guys on the train in the beginning of the film. And the whole time, by the way, he's batting his eyes, he's wriggling around in his chair like a woman. I mean, this is the one time I really wish I could show a clip from the film, because it's impossible to miss once you see it. And I really find it hard to believe that no one else was thinking this when they saw it. And it's, again,
because nobody else is a fucking retard.
I get it. He has that list in the whole rest of the film. He doesn't sound like this.
It's funny. It's funny how Nick says that he calls him a retard, but then earlier in the video he was like apologizing to him in a way like, I like you, I don't want him to hate me, but he called him a retard. I guess you could call it this tough love right there. Maybe not the worst thing you call someone, but I don't know. If I wanted someone to not beef with in a way, I would probably want to call them retard. Nor would I would lose some respect for you if like we're on a peer level, and you call me a retard.
Okay.
Well, whatever.
Although he does kind of do this weird prancing around dancing thing. Okay, that's a little. But now
that's a little I'm wiping my green screen here. I just got a haircut. You know when you get a haircut, like you have all these little hairs that are falling out of your hair when that happens.
Take a shower.
Happens. You know what I'm talking? You just get your hair clipped or whatever, and then you like put your head on your pillow and you get these little.
Whoa. Who takes a haircut and puts a hair on the pillow? Maybe white people have less hair fall out when they get haircuts. Me, I cannot do that. I have to take a shower. Not that I've never taken a haircut and like done stuff, but I don't think I've ever taken a haircut and gone as far to sit down and watch a YouTube video for an hour, or like or lay down in bed.
Back, and I just noticed it was all over. But anyway, he's prancing around like a clown. Come on, man. Come on. I wanted to like the review. I wanted to like hear an alternative perspective. He's trans. He prances around. He's prancing around like a fag. He's prancing around. He crosses his legs at the knee like a fag. He's a clown. He's a clown. That's the point. Clowns dance. Oh, he's talking like an effeminate voice. Because he's being silly. He's being a silly clown. He says, you know, who decides what's funny and who's not? He's being funny. That's what he says he's talking in a silly manner. He prances around after he kills Murray. He's dancing. He's crazy. He's eccentric. He's a clown who has lost his mind. So either he's prancing around because he's transgender, or he's a clown who's.
I think at this point I'm just laughing to keep myself occupied. I want this video to end, but I could stop now. But I don't like doing half reactions. So I'm gonna
lost
go through.
His mind. Well, I don't know what could be.
Voice is at least 1 octave higher, and he's giggling like he's thinking about being taken behind a dumpster after the show.
He's oh my god, oh my god, and he's giggling like he's gonna get fucked in the ass like a girl. He's laughing psychotically because he's the Joker. He's going because he's psychotic, because he's lost his mind, because he has this illness from being abused as a child. Did you watch the movie? Did you even watch the movie? Did you even watch the movie?
Oh. Why does he still have this pumpkin? How old is this? This must be old, huh? I thought this was new, but now I think about it, it would make sense this is older, because he's got a pumpkin here.
He's laughing like a girl. It's also tiresome.
So with the gayest cadence possible, he launches into this speech about how nobody wonders what it's like to be him, and that people are awful, and the host is also awful for wanting to ridicule him. And then he says, you know what you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash. You get what you fucking deserve. And then he executes on live television the late night talk show host Robert De Niro, and then gets up and prances around in front of the camera like a little girl. After that, we see Joker staring out of the back window of a police car. He's been taken into custody. They're taking him in, and he's looking gleefully at all these Antifa.
Before he's going to talk about Antifa, that's how he could talk about that scene and not even say how epic it was. Just shows we're just not on the same wavelength. This guy is not he is ruining the schmood. He has failed the vibe check. Then he could read off that line and just like not even react. And then Joker says, how about another joke, Murray? What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you fucking deserve. How could you read that line and not even just say for like a second, and that was epic, and that was great. That was fucking awesome. But instead he just reads it off. He reads off the line. He's like, and then he says this. He says, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? You get what you fucking deserve. And then he kills him, and then he prances around like a little girl, like a little gay girl, like a tranny little girl. Anyway, like, you don't, bro, you don't get it, man. I'm gonna stop you right there. All right, pause. I'm gonna stop you right there. You don't get it. You don't get it. You never will. You're not a schmoodster, all right? You're not on the vibe, all right? Let's just leave it at that. How can we expect somebody that doesn't even get the schmood to review this movie? He's not even a schmoodster, and he's reviewing this movie. You're not allowed to even watch this movie. It's not for you. This movie's not for you, all right? You do not understand this schmood. How could you watch the last 20 minutes of the movie, the schmood, and your review is just like,
hurry up.
And he prances around like a little girl. When I saw that scene, when he's like smoking a cigarette before he comes out, and then he does that dance, right before he comes out on the show, and then he delivers that line, he kills him, and then he does a little dance, and he comes up to the camera. How could you not be like beaming during that whole scene? How could you not vibe with that?
Yeah, as Nick described this, I'm imagining him like secretly thinking that this is like base behavior. Not really, but like I can imagine Nick like start dancing like this and like. You know what I mean? Nick goes out and he comes out of a bathroom and he's just feeling good. He starts dancing like the Joker, feeling based.
How could you see
that's what I'm seeing in my head as he describes this.
That with your arms crossed and be like tranny Joker? Oh, he's awfully like a trans. Look at him. He's prancing around like a little girl. Like if that's your reaction, we cannot help you. We can do nothing for you, son.
Oh shoot!
You don't get it. You're gonna get what you deserve, bro. Anyway.
Antifa riots.
You're gonna get what you deserve, bro.
People holding resist signs and burning trash cans, like literal Antifa riots going on outside. And before he's taken into prison, a bunch of Antifa wearing clown masks saved him by ramming the police car and taking him out of the police car. So while he's surrounded by these chanting, mentally ill children of single moms worshiping trans Joker as they burn trash cans.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's what the take amounts to. Is it's what is it? What does he say? Motherless, mentally ill Antifa worshiping trans Joker, or something like that.
Police car. So while he's surrounded by these chanting, mentally ill children of single moms worshiping trans Joker as they
mentally ill children of single moms worshiping trans Joker. That's the punchline. And then you understand this whole review has been building up to that. This whole review has been building up to this lame boomer punchline. The movie was about mentally ill children of single moms worshiping trans Joker. Well, if that's what you saw in this movie, then you're a fucking idiot. Sorry. And I know you're not Devin Stack. I know Devin Stack he's a smart guy. He makes good content most of the time. But in this case, I mean, this review is just straight retarded. If that's what you think this movie is about, that's dumb. It's not about that.
Whoa.
You think anybody who hates rich people is mentally ill children of a single mom? Anybody who's mad at the system, alienated, marginalized, whatever the word is, isolated, atomized. Anybody that's feeling that way, anybody that's feeling a little bit of rage at the system is mentally ill, children of single mothers, Antifa. I'm not a children of a single mom. I'm not mentally ill. I'm not an Antifa. And I vibe with this. And I vibe with this schmood, all right? I see these people burning cop cars, running around, killing people. I see Joker getting dragged out of the car. And I'm vibing with it. And I voted for Donald Trump. I see Thomas Wayne get killed, and I vibe with that. The intention of this movie was to get right-wing people to relate to an Antifa trans leader. That was the purpose of the movie. The only problem is there's no actual source material that supports the idea that he's trans or, gender queer, questioning, anything like that. There's no source material that suggests that he is the leader of this movement or participating in it. There's no source material that says that the movement resembles Antifa, except for they have a sign that says Wayne is a fascist. But the movie is, it's not even ideological. It's populist. So, I mean, if you didn't even watch the source material, which is the film, then yeah, I guess you could say that. But there's nothing in the movie that suggests anything like that.
And it really is. It is an accelerationist movie. Because really the only takeaway is that if you feel powerless, if you feel helpless, the answer, the solution to the problem, not just the solution, you'll be a hero if you just start murdering people. That's the big takeaway of the film.
That's
That
the
said,
takeaway?
another important takeaway from the film
Oh crap! I clicked the button and the video went away.
is it is an accelerationist movie. Because really the only takeaway problem, not just the solution, you'll be a hero if you just start murdering people. That's the big takeaway of the film.
That's
That
the
said,
takeaway?
another important takeaway from the film, aside from revealing how gullible some of the audience is that the public is so conditioned to see
I would
only
not call that
heroes
a
of color.
takeaway. I would just call that the event that happens in the movie. I wouldn't say that's what they're trying to convince normies to watch the movie and enact this kind of behavior.
And single mom heroes. Simply by not using these.
That's the takeaway. The takeaway, that is the opposite of the takeaway.
It's kind of ironic, yeah, because all the liberals, not all of them, but an amount of them, made articles about this movie and how it's for like it's evil propaganda for secluded white incels. So it's kind of opposite thing.
The director even himself says the movie does not glorify violence. You should not relate with Joker after a certain point. Whatever.
Cliche propaganda devices. You can rehash movie ideas that have been done to death in films for decades, and a lot of people will think you're being edgy.
That's the takeaway. The takeaway is just because they don't have people of color protagonists, people think it's a right-wing movie,
Oh shoot!
and it's about reselling old movies, and they'll think you're being edgy. Wow, great take. Great take. What are you, 12? What are you, 14? Is Devin Stack like a middle schooler? Some kind of... I mean, this is like a take I would expect from a high school Republican. We're with the, what is it? We're with the GOP for kids. We are with, what do they call when they're in high school? I am with the young Republicans. Hi, I'm a 14-year-old, and my take on Joker, I'm a 14-year-old in the Young Republicans, and my take on Joker is that it's a movie about Antifa, and it's like, you can do this, and they'll just think you're, like, edgy. The director's just trying to, like, be edgy. The director's like a wannabe edgelord, and it's about Antifa. And I'm going to my I'm going to my Young Republicans meeting today, and I'm 15, and my brain isn't even fully developed. I mean, it's just sad, you know? And people are telling you, like, oh, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. Really?
For BlackPilled, I'm Devin Stack.
Great
If you like my
job.
Alright,
videos,
is
make
it
sure you
over?
like and subscribe. Make sure you share.
Oh,
Not gonna be doing any of that.
all right. Let's see what he says.
Gonna be,
afterwards.
oh, yeah, I already downvoted it. Yeah, so there you have it. That's the review. I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad. I'll read some things from chat. I'll give some closing thoughts. But, you know, look, like I said, I like Devin Stack. He's made good content before. But for all the reasons I outlined, this review is just terrible.
Yeah, it's
There's
October
no
10th,
analysis.
2019.
And even his description of the plot. Like, a review is supposed to do a couple of things. A review is supposed to summarize the movie. A review is to analyze, as a work of art, the style, the motifs, the themes, the cinematography, the acting. It's supposed to interpret the movie, perhaps what the director intended, some of the narratives that were prominent throughout the movie, and to give a conclusion, to judge whether or not the movie succeeds as a work of art or, whether it gets across its message. That's what a review is supposed to do. This was none of these things. The King of Joker Driver. This video was just a lot of cheap jokes, a lot of cheap punchlines. It did a very bad job of summarizing the movie. It didn't even summarize it in chronological order, or even left out a lot of the most critical parts. It didn't analyze any of what I just mentioned, the style, the cinematography, the acting, the plot. I mean, none of that happened. This was a series of drive-by cheap shots, cheap snipes at different scenes. Like I said earlier, this scene is just like in Taxi Driver. This scene is just like in King of Comedy, and that's bad. That means they have no merit on themselves. That means they do not warrant any further analysis by themselves. And in fact, it doesn't even warrant a compare and contrast with the inspiration. We're not even going to compare this scene in Taxi Driver with the scene in Joker. We're just going to point out that they're similar and dismiss them. So there was a lot of that. There was a lot of, well, this is like this political thing. This is like Donald Trump. And this is like Antifa. And this is like Jussie Smollett. Very surface level, shallow, cosmetic similarities. I'm going to point those out and dismiss them. Again, not even a full analysis of, well, here's why this is sort of like this thing. Well, here's Donald Trump, and here's why he's like Thomas Wayne. Here's why they're different. Here's in a larger perspective why they're similar. It's just like, kind of similar. It's the same. It's Donald Trump, Thomas Wayne. Wayne Manor, Mar-a-Lago, dismissed. That's nothing. And then, again, trying to graft onto the movie a political agenda. Trying to graft onto the movie a reductive, partisan politics message when there was none. Trying to shoehorn in and fit in, here's why this is like what MSNBC is saying. This is why this is like what CNN is saying. And it's just crap. It's just crap. There are all kinds of just factual inaccuracies in this review. He says Joker literally says resist. People are starting to resist. He says people are starting to notice, not to resist. He says, well, Joker joins the movement. No, he doesn't. Never in the movie does he embrace or acknowledge a role in the movement or say he is consistent with this kill the rich movement in the movie. So that's wrong. He says the movie focuses more time on the Wall Street guys being up, and that makes him Joker, than they do the abuse at the hands of his mother. Well, that's wrong, because they do focus on the abuse by the single mother, and probably that is what made him Joker more than anything else. So just like, it's just, a lot of it is just wrong. It just strikes me as a review that is just lazy. Let's just throw a bunch of shit together. It's lazy, it's contrarian, it's shallow, it's cheap. Not worth watching. I mean, the review is just, there's not a serious review of the movie. I would say Devin Stack should see it again with these critiques in mind. Maybe he'll come away with a different opinion. But
No.
frankly, it's all academics that don't like this movie. It's all these autists. It really is a litmus test in a lot of ways for what kind of brain you have. Everybody that disliked this movie is like a spurg academic. And I don't say that is totally a negative thing, not totally. But it's like, Devin Stack didn't like it. Stefan Molyneux didn't like it. Richard Spencer didn't like it. E. Michael Jones didn't like it. Richard Spencer didn't like it. It's all these, like, extremely analytical, academic-type people who have, read into it politics. E. Michael Jones said, this is a movie that tells young white people that they have no hope. Richard Spencer said, this movie's not based in red-pilled. Stefan Molyneux says, this is a movie about, single mothers or something. I didn't really watch his full video on that. Devin said, this is a movie about Antifa. All these academic people are overthinking it or maybe underthinking it, but trying to shoehorn in a political narrative. Where all the Zoomers are watching this movie, and we're relating to it because the movie is about alienation. Like Taxi Driver, the movie is about alienation. It is about isolation. It is about more or less, mental illness. And I don't even like that word mental illness, but insanity, basically. It's about the edge, the thin line between sanity and insanity. That's what the movie is about. It is a character study about Arthur Fleck. And people are relating to it because it's a movie about a guy who has nothing left to lose. And once he has nothing left to lose, he embraces chaos. He embraces fame, notoriety. He realizes that if he can't make it by being a comedian, if he just can't catch a break by trying to do things like everybody else, you know how he can make it? Well, there's another way he can make it. And even the political messaging, people fail to realize he doesn't believe any of this stuff. So when they say that, well, his rhetoric at the end might be left-wing or right-wing when he's on the Murray Franklin show and he says, nobody listens to the other guy. If I were killed, he'd walk right over me. If you took that at face value, if you saw the last scene as preachy, which some people are saying, because the last scene rather, is what most people are talking about, the climax when he's on the Murray Franklin show and he delivers this rant, he has his go-off moment and then he kills the host.
It's
If
not
you're
the
taking
last
that at
scene.
face value, some left-wing people are saying, he says that people are so offended by jokes, and right-wing people are saying, oh, it's like a left-wing message. Well, you're missing the point. The point is that he will say and do anything in order to get fame, in order to get notoriety, in order to have some sense of fulfillment or connection. That's the point. This is somebody who's grasping for anything. So when he's saying these things, it's not like he even believes them. And people like me, I think, could understand that maybe more than anybody. And I'm not saying like I don't have convictions or anything, but me being like a content creator, and I know other content creators, and I know like what fame is sort of like a little bit of e-fame is like. I know what notoriety is like, infamy is like. It becomes a lot less about the substance of what's being said as it is about the effect, as it is about the intended reaction. So people are saying, well, he says this, or what he says about, rich people and how, Thomas Wayne doesn't care about the people. He's saying that he's playing a part. But he's a chaos agent. He says, I don't believe in anything. So, in any case, that's the review. I really do got to get going at 6:30. The review accomplishes none of what a review should accomplish. Like I said, there's factual inaccuracies all over the place. It doesn't even get really deep into this. Like on the third viewing of the movie, there were so many things I saw that I didn't see the first time, so many themes, like for example about ridicule, about laughter. There are so many points in the movie where because of his condition where he's laughing, people are sometimes laughing at him. He's laughing at people and it makes them angry and attack them. That was a theme throughout. Where he was laughing and the Wall Street guys beat the shit out of him. Where he was laughing and the black lady, gave him a dirty look. He was laughing and Thomas Wayne punched him in the face. He wants to be laughed at the comedy club. When they pay his clip and they're laughing at him on the show, he's pissed off. He's BlackPilled, right? When he goes on the show, he gets mad that Murray just wanted people to make fun of him. He kills him and he laughs. So the idea of ridicule, of laughter is a motif. Again, stylistically, the light versus the dark. Him climbing up the staircase, trudging up the staircase, and him triumphantly coming down the staircase, dancing, the makeup, the idea of a mask. I mean, I'm not going to dive into this. It's not my review of the movie, but there are so many things stylistically, thematically. There are so many motifs. the idea of the character study. But this just like one-dimensional, reductive idea that it's about a guy that gradually becomes more crazy and then he goes crazy, but it's really about Antifa and Donald Trump, and it's this preachy message about, whatever, about politics. Just trash, bad. So that's my review of Joker. That's going to complete the stream for us at 6:30. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked my review of the review. I hope Devin Stack isn't mad at me. I'm just getting heated because I like the movie, and he's calling me gullible. He's calling me, like, foolish because I, like, gave money to my enemies and I didn't get it. But it's like, oh, hang on. My headset just turned off. But it's like, you don't get it. So, anyway. So I hope he's not mad at me. But like I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for the Lino points. I don't know. Enjoy yourself. Get a snack. Hang out. Whatever. But we'll be back on YouTube in 30 minutes. So I will see you then. Take it easy.
Alrighty. Well, that was a long one. You can probably tell I got bored halfway through. The whole time. Yeah, like Nick said, this guy never got to the actual substance of the movie. But yeah, interesting content. I'm not a big Joker person. I wasn't a big fan of the Joker movie. I'm not a DC fan. So, but yeah, it's interesting to see how people can be so invested in a movie, in a sense, to argue over it and defend it in such a way. I agree with mostly. I agree with most everything Nick said here, but I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at this guy for critiquing it, not for the sake of being agreeable. I don't care about being agreeable, but I'm just not. I don't think I could be so invested in a movie that I'll be like frustrated that someone criticizes it like this. But yeah, interesting video. This is how long we've been going on for? I don't know. If you watched this long, thank you for watching. It's been not so wonderful because I wanted to take a nap halfway through, but yeah. Thank you for watching. You stayed here the whole time. You're cool. And I will see you later. Bye. Have a wonderful time.